Hi everyone. So following my first video, I've had some brilliant feedback from friends and also fellow repairers from Repair Cafe. I volunteer at the local Repair Cafe, but also go and help out at some of the others. And so I've got to know a great bunch of people. Had some great feedback, so hopefully make some improvements to this video. So I've got a common issue. We quite often get lamps coming into Repair Cafe. This is a gift from my dad. Um, he told me that ultimately the switch, when turning on the lamp, sometimes it doesn't turn on, sometimes it flickers, um, sometimes it's okay. So very much sounds like there's just a loose cable. So I have had a bit of a play with this already whilst I was at my dad's house, but couldn't fix it there and then. So if I just turn it on, hopefully no big sparks or anything. So yeah, bit of a flicker. You can see I'm just moving the rocker switch there. I'm not actually turning it off. I'm just tapping it lightly and it's flickering off. So obviously there's something not quite right inside. So turn it off, disconnect, make sure that I don't shock myself. Uh, if I switch to the close-up cam, I can show you the rocker switch. It's not in the best of states. So if I just bring that around here, and there you can see, I mean, it's already half coming apart. It's a bit dirty. I think this lamp, it was there at my parents' house, um, even when I lived there. So that was about, oh, God knows, 30 years ago or so. I'm trying not to show my age. So let's take this apart. I've already purchased a new rocker switch because I thought it's more than likely going to need one. Hopefully this will be a straightforward fix. And then we can you know, teach a few people how to do this. So remember, safety first, make sure whatever you're working on is unplugged. So let's take this apart and have a look, see what's in there. Is it going to just come? No, right, let's get something to pry it apart. I've got a tool chest full of different levers and spudgers and all sorts. No idea why they're called spudgers, but they just help you get into whatever you're working on. So let's see if we can take that apart. Brilliant, not very repairable. There's no visible screws on there, nothing to actually help you service this sort of thing. So a bit frustrating. Wouldn't it be nice if everything was easy to take apart so that you can fix the things? Working at the repair cafe, we often find the hardest part of fixing anything is getting into the damn things. Although always try to start with the most basic things first. And all right, there we go. Straight away, we can see we have a loose cable. So obviously the strain relief hasn't been good enough. So let's see what we're dealing with. Okay, let me just get something to help point at what's going on here. So what's not very good here is it looks like the cables are just clamped down. They're not soldered on. They just seem to be clamped down to the metal. And I dare say, because I can't see any screws there either. Let's see if we can take this apart a little bit more. I would guess that maybe it could be soldered back on, but it looks like it's been maybe spot welded in the factory, keeping costs down, etc. A lot of people talk about built-in obsolescence, but I think it's also the fact that manufacturers want to make things as cheaply as they possibly can, and so yeah, look at that. There's no way I'd even be able to get the cable back inside. So frayed cable. This piece here is looks like it's been sort of welded down somehow, or maybe soldered down. Might be able to desolder it, put the cable down, solder it back on. But since I've got a spare switch already, I might as well just use that. So just move that out of the way for a second. Let's get the other switch and see what we need to do. Right, okay, screws, good stuff. So let's see if I find the right screwdriver first time this time. Yeah, look at that. Winning. So let's just get these screws undone. I've also had feedback about my work mat in the first video, saying that I should have it clean. I said someone would say something, so I will have to order myself a new mat. I have got a really big mat that goes across my desk, but that involves me having to clean and tidy up my desk a little bit to get my mat out. And this is my desk that I also use when I'm working from home, so a little bit of a challenge, having tools and mats and all that sort of stuff. One day I'll have a dedicated workshop for this, but not quite yet. So nearly in. It's important to use the right screwdriver. If you use one that's too big, one that's too small, these screws are often quite cheap anyway, and you can end up stripping the screws, which is effectively where you break the heads on the screws, and they don't screw very nicely anymore. So let's open this up and have a look to see what we've got in there. Okay, quite a basic switch going on. So let's see. So if you can see under there, we've got a rocker switch arrangement. It looks like you can just pass the wires through on the other side. We probably don't even need to do that, but we do need to attach one wire here. If you see the way that this has been done, they've kept the neutral and the earth intact, and then they've broken the live cable. So we can probably do similar. I'll see if I can take this out altogether, allow the other two cables to just pass through, and then we can attach the live and the neutral. Attach the live here and leave the neutral and the earth on their own. Although, is that sort of plastic welded down? Right, let's see what we can do. Okay, right. Let us just see if we can get this out. Oh, there we go. Let's have a closer look at what they've done. Yeah, that's not great, is it? Doesn't really make it very repairable. And this is why, sadly, a lot of people would just say, well, it's not worth the hassle, so we might as well just chuck it out. And for the sake of what, a £2 or £3 inline switch? Terrible. So let's see if we can just take this off. Pair of pliers, give it a bit of force. Oh, look at that. Straight out. Not great, not great at all. It has lasted quite a few years, but ultimately it's not really built to last. Will they fit? Right, I think I might need to trim down those wires a little bit. So let's see if I can take this side out. Let me do it easily. Nope, of course not. Right, let's bring in the pliers. Can I take this rocker switch off so that I'm not... Well, let's not do that yet. Do the least amount you possibly can so that you're not causing yourself more trouble. There we go, we've made the space for the wires on the one side to go through. And then I think I need to trim the earth wire a little bit. I might need to give us a little bit more. Maybe not. Can I get that there? No, I'm going to have to make more space. So I've got some handy wire strippers. Let's switch cameras so you can see a bit better. Some wire strippers like this. See if I can get this insulation off. It is strange the way they do this. So, right, there we go. So if I go back to the close-up cam, I've just used those wire strippers to get that piece off a little bit. So I just need to get something to cut up there and pull it off. I've got some side cutters, new purchase from AliExpress, which arrived yesterday or the day before. Drives my wife mad, the amount of things I have delivered, but nothing massively expensive. But you know, if you have plenty of tools, it means you can make all these jobs that little bit easier. But also, you don't need lots of fancy tools to do these repairs. What have I used so far? You know, pliers, wire strippers, a spudger, but you could probably get away with a butter knife or something like that. And will that fit in a bit more comfortably? Yeah, I think so. And then if I just trim this one down, and then so that gives us space to put wires around. Okay, so let's trim this live down. Let's take just a little bit off the end. No idea where that went. No doubt I'll find that when I've only got my socks on. Let's see. This might not be able to fit. So I've got a different pair of wire strippers. These ones. So let's see if this can help. Nice. Okay, right. I need a flat screwdriver into my drawers. We'll do a little tour of my office one day to show people what tools I have. It's always fascinating to see what other people use for their repairs. How does this work? Right, okay. Oh, I think this is going to be a little bit fiddly because I think I need to get the wire underneath there somehow. Doesn't look like the best design either, but you know, cheap switch off Amazon. Oh, this is going to be fiddly as hell, I think. See if I can straighten out these a little bit. And I fish that under there. Right, that actually went in straight away, which I am very surprised about. Get that whacked down. It's relatively tight. One thing with electrics that people always assume is that you should tighten things as much as you possibly can, but that's not quite right. If you tighten connections too much, you can actually crush the copper wiring. If you see there, and you create a weak joint, and over time, sometimes that can become loose. So loose and break, or even worse, it could spark, causes a short circuit or a small fire. So it's always good to have it tight, but not too tight. Because if you over tighten things, cause the copper to break, and then, well, you could end up having a very bad day, couldn't you? Right, let's see if I can get the lid back on. This will be the next challenge. Does it matter which way round it goes? Right, it's gone on and it's gotten off. What do we reckon? Do we reckon we're going to get it right first time? Let's see. Not quite sure which is which. That sounds like that's on. Right, let's just offer that up, close it over. Oh, this looks like it might be built for a thinner cable. How much space do we have? Not an awful lot of space. Oh, joy of joys. Okay, what have we got going on there? We might need to remove a little bit of the plastic that's inside just to give it a bit more space to get in. Right. Yeah, that's not going down enough at all. I know it's meant to grip the cable, but that's way too tight. So let's have a look. What have we got there? Break those bits off. I think if I break some of the bits off at the bottom, so let's get some needle nose pliers and see if I can remove some of these bits of plastic. Maybe it's something that I could have seen on the Amazon listing to see what sort of length of wire, thickness of wire it could take, but who knows. Let's see if this works. This is really sort of flexible plastic, so it's not just breaking off. A bit of a frustration. If not, I'll get some snips in there and see if I can snip bits out. Yeah, let's get those snips. See, good job I bought these. Come on, let's get in there. There we go. It's got that bit out. Let's see. Does that give me much more space? Okay, I can feel that's gone down a bit more. I might have to snip it out to the top part of the case as well. Right. Let's see if we can get this out. So lamps and hoovers tend to be quite a common thing we get coming into the repair cafe. I mean, we get all sorts, but there's definitely a common theme of things that come in. Lamps are relatively basic and straightforwards, and so far I think I've done five hoovers myself, and they've all been just blockages or filters that people didn't know that they were there. It was quite easy to sort of empty the bag and think that everything's clean and there's nothing else to do. But I think I had one hoover that had 3 filters outside of the bag itself, and it was chock-a-block. But cleaned them out as best I could. I didn't want to. You're supposed to sort of some of the filters you're supposed to wash out, and I didn't want to do that there and then. So I cleaned them as best I could and showed the lady how to get them removed and how to clean them. But even just giving them a bit of a bash outside, getting a lot of the dust off, it improved the suction on the hoover so much more. There we go. Great, nice messy desk. All that straining has pulled that cable out, so I need to redo that. So I realise I keep knocking my close-up cam. So live and learn. Hopefully I can get some better kit one day. But for me, really, this is more about sharing knowledge and encouraging people to have a go. Always be safe with what you do. But hopefully you can see how simple some things are. And, you know, if you don't want to tackle something, have a look on the Repair Cafe website and go and find your local Repair Cafe. There'll be loads of people just like me. They'd be more than happy to help out. So, you know, if you're not confident, or even if you just want to give it a go, but you want someone to be there to talk you through the process, then that's the sort of thing that we do at the Repair Cafe. So that's still a bit tight, but let's just screw all these back in. It might clamp down over a little bit of period of time as they call it cable relief. It's just basically the sort of clamps at either end that stop the cables from pulling out of the contacts. Or strain relief, I should say, not cable relief. It relieves the strain off the cable. Get this last one in. And let's get this one in. And let's see, is it still switched back and forth? Let's give it a little test. If I get it plugged in, switch cameras so you can see, is the light there? Oh, helps to turn it on and the plug, doesn't it? Hey, there we go. If I do it slowly, just see if there's any, yeah, that's nice. Okay, good, all good. I can take that back to my dad. That will please him. No doubt he'll find something else for me to fix. But yeah, I'll take that down, cheer him up a little bit, and then see what else I end up with. Actually, I think he said he's got a pendulum clock which needs looking at, so that'll be interesting. So, not exactly my forte, although I think it's battery powered, so maybe it's just loose wires or something like that. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.